Hi, and welcome to this Cup Experience briefing. I'm Jack Griffin, and I'm going to try to explain a little bit about the wing sail on the AC-45 catamarans and how they work. Let's take a look at this. So first of all, here's a picture of one of the Oracle boats in an early phase training, and you can see that the wing is set up. We can see that there's one element of the wing here and a second element of the wing here that's at a bit of a different angle. That angle is actually the camber, and the camber is what helps us to generate lift and power. And then we use twist, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and how we control that to actually reduce the power. Remember that these boats are supposed to sail in wind conditions from 3 knots to 30 knots, so you can imagine that if you've got the wing set up to be able to sail when there's only 3 knots of wind, if you've got 30 knots of wind, you've got way too much power and you'll need to reduce it. We'll take a look at how all of that works. So here we are. This is an example of another shot of the wing, and you can see that it's the camber is the angle between the 2 yellow bars here, right? So this angle is the amount of camber that's in the wing, and just like the flaps on an airplane, that helps to generate lift. Notice that we talk also about the slot. The slot is the space between the 2 elements, and what happens is that the air flows from the forward element, comes through the slot, and stays attached to the wing as it flows out past off the back of the wing. So that's one of the elements that we use in terms of generating lift with the wing. Now, how do we set in the camber? Here we're looking at the foot of the wing. This is where the wing is in the shop. It's been taken out of the boat and it's lying down horizontally, and we're looking at the bottom of the wing. Let's take a look at what are all of these controls and this giant plate here, this big gray plate. What is this thing for? Let's take a look at how we actually adjust the camber. Basically what happens is that this big gray plate rotates around this axis here, and that rotation is what allows the back element of the wing to go off at a different angle. And what happens is that this arm here pivots back and forth, and as it pivots the whole wing around this axis, that puts the camber into the wing. Let's take a look at some other things about this. Oh, how do you control this? Well, there's a system of cables that run through the wing, and they come out right here. So here's the place. See, there's a pulley right here, and this line is attached to this arm. This line right here runs up over this pulley, goes through a purchase system, a system of more pulleys to give us mechanical advantage, and it comes back out, it comes back down through the mast right here where this arrow is, and coming out here, this line here is the one that one of the members of the crew can pull on or ease in order to in order to adjust the camber. So clearly the more you pull on this line, the more you're going to be pulling it here, and you'll be actually pulling this arm back into alignment, back into the center position by pulling on it. When you ease it, then this can move off the center position. So how do we tell how much camber we have? Here's a picture of the wing. It's actually just about to be mounted on the boat, but it's a good shot to be able to see how we look at the camber. These numbers here inside of the wing mast let the crew read off how many degrees of camber there are in the wing. Now what happens is it turns out that sometimes it's hard to read this apparently, so most of the crews have actually set up a second system along the foot of the wing right here to allow them to read the same degrees of camber set into the wing. And here you can see a little bit of a close-up with each of these pictures. This one right here, you can see in here, see this little white marker? That's wrapped around one of the lines that runs through the wing. And here we have the same kind of system down here with this little orange mark that's on the wing down here. So this makes it easier for the crew to read. Remember, when they're sitting on the sides of the boat, it's a lot easier for them to read that here. Now let's take a look at the other major way that we use to trim or regulate the wing, and that's the twist. Now twist is the way to reduce power, and what that means in terms of twist is, imagine that we could grab the wing right up here at the top, and we could literally twist it. And in fact, we can do that because the wing is in 3 sections. And here are the markers. So we have 1, 2, 3 sections of the wing. And those can each, that's basically like a flap. And those flaps can be adjusted by 11 degrees each. And what you do is, when the wind starts to get over 10 knots, you start to reduce power, so that by the time you're up to 10, 15, 20, 30 knots of wind, you can really reduce the power in the wing. Now, how do you do that? Here's a shot of the Team New Zealand boat from pretty much directly astern. So she's sailing away from us. And what we can see is that, first of all, there's some camber between the front section of the wing and the rear section of the wing. But what we see is that at the top, we're looking at the left side of the wing, or the port side of the wing. But when we come down here, look at this. Down here, we're actually looking at the other side of the wing. This is the starboard side of the wing. So clearly, from the bottom to the top, the wing has twisted off, as we say. And basically what that does is it allows air to the wind to spill off the top of the sail here, which reduces the power. So this is, we talk about the top section being twisted off, and the bottom section is still trimmed in. If we were to reduce the twist, we'd have more of a straight line from the top to bottom of the wing. Let's take a look a little bit further. How do you regulate that? Well, here we are. This is a picture of a wing seen from the top. Again, it's in the shop, so we're looking at the very tippy top of the wing, and we can see that there are some control arms. And there are 3 sets of them. So here's one, here's the second set right here, and here's the tip of the 3rd set. Basically what happens is, by twisting those arms differently, it makes the wing, and these are here, this is the back section of the wing, and this is what actually, the part that twists. The main section of the wing doesn't twist, it just stays where it is. It's the back section that will have a different amount of angle from top to bottom, which gives us the twist. Another view of that is, here's the very top of the wing. Here are those arms, 1, 2, and the 3rd set here, which we can barely see. It's a little bit out of the picture. And here are the cables that are controlled, that put the twist into the wing. So how do we control those? Well, again, let's go down to this picture of one of the wings and the bottom of the wing. So here we are at the other end. Remember that this big plate here moves back and forth, and it rotates around this axis to put camber into the wing. And this smaller plate here also rotates around the same point, and as it rotates, the different cables that are attached to it here are going to apply different amounts of force on those arms that go up and down the tops of the up and down the wing, and that's where we're actually able to set the twist in. Now here's another shot of the bottom of a wing, and these lines are the twist control lines. So right here, this purchase system is what gives the mechanical advantage to allow us to control it, and this line coming off of that system of pulleys is basically what controls this. And much like with the camber, where what happens is, the more we pull this element into its center position, takes all the twist out of the wing, when we ease this line here by releasing some of the tension through here, then this plate can move a little bit off axis and put twist into the wing. So that was a little bit of down in the deep weeds of the details of these boats. I hope it was somewhat of use to you, and if you have any questions, please just come to cupexperience.com and you'll find a place where you can just ask me, ask Jack any questions that you have at cupexperience.com. I don't know the answers to all the questions, but I know a lot of people, and I'm sure I can find the answers to your questions. So thanks for your attention. Talk to you again soon.